Welcome, welcome, green and emerald, or emerald and green. It's your lovely talking head, Mrs. Ludlow, this afternoon, and we're going to have a look at some geography, and we're going to be looking at the cities and countries within the UK, and you're going to be doing some map work a bit later, which I know that when we did the last bit of map work in Emerald class, our skills were coming on really well, so we're going to work on those, going to keep working on those, so that's really good. And you've got some maps and what I'd call an empty map to fill in this afternoon, and so we'll have a little look at finding the UK on these maps. There's two maps here. This is like a world map on this side, and this side, this is a map of Europe, and we're going into Russia and the Middle East and parts of Africa on there. So see if you can spot the UK on these two maps. You can pause the video and have a look at that. Okay, and can you find ancient Greece on this one? Come on, get those skills going. Whereabouts in Europe is Greece? We know we've got Spain working along this way to Italy. Can you find Greece? I can see it here. Here it is. Can you recognise that bit there? It's with a little hand sort of shape that comes down. And then we've got Crete down the bottom, where the Minotaur came from. Let's get back onto what we're supposed to be doing, Mrs. Ludlow. Oh, she's off on a tangent again. Okay, so here we go. Here's the United Kingdom, or the UK. And here it is, right in close here. And you can see it on the world map there. Should be able to spot those continents, have a think back to the work we've done before. Can you keep, naming those continents? Give yourself a little test, see if you can do that now. Okay, and so we're going to look at the countries that make up the UK, and there's 4 countries that make up the United Kingdom. There are the British Isles, and we've got 2 countries, or 2 land forms in the British Isles, and it's quite complicated actually. It's quite complex, and it goes back through history. About 1,000 years of history relate to why our countries are made up, how they are, and so it's quite complex. But we're looking at the 4 that make up the UK here. So have a look. Number 1, what do you think the number 1 is? Number 2, what do you think number 3 represents? And what do you think 4? Okay, you ready? You can pause that if you want to and have a little think about it. We've got Scotland at the top here, northern part of our map. We've got Northern Ireland. This is the land mass of Ireland. Okay, Northern Ireland is linked to the United Kingdom, part of the United Kingdom. We've got England, the biggest of the 4. Okay, and we've got Wales on this side. Okay, so you've got 4 countries that make up the United Kingdom, and united means that they're together. Okay, sort of politically together and governed by overall by Parliament in London, but that's a bit more complicated than and changing, sort of constantly changing. Okay, so here we go. So which countries make up the UK? The UK is short for the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And Great Britain is Britain is the land mass that is this part here. Okay, so that is Britain, and then this part of Northern Ireland is the and this is in the landmass of Ireland. Okay, so it's the land, and united together. Okay, so it's made up of United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Which countries do you think make up Great Britain? United Kingdom is England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And Great Britain is, without this Northern Ireland part, is Scotland, England and Wales. Okay, I always like to sort of work down from the top rather than putting England at the forefront the whole time, which is where the English tend to like to be. Okay, but I like to work down from the north down. So Scotland, England and Wales, and Scotland, Northern Ireland, England and Wales. It just sort of seems to work for me in my memory. Okay, so we're going to sort some facts out now. Oh, I could get myself into so much trouble here, couldn't I? And so we've got the capital city is Edinburgh. What's the capital city? Edinburgh is a capital city of Scotland. And I'm going to read these out. You see if you can work out what they are, and we'll go through this quite quickly. When we do this in class, we get lots of talk going backwards and forwards. Obviously, we can't do that on a video. It's quite frustrating, but if you want to have a little talk with somebody that's with you, do that. Okay, pause the video and or work through it together with somebody. Capital city is London. I did mention that one. That's England. Belfast is Northern Ireland. Capital city is Cardiff. That's got to be Wales, looking at that, hasn't it? Okay, now we've got some flags coming up. 4 flags, okay. That is the Welsh flag with a dragon. If you ever watch rugby, they have lots of dragons in the when Wales are playing. They have people dressed up as dragons, dragon hats and all sorts. And that one, it does look similar to the English flag if you think football, rugby. That's actually the Northern Ireland flag of Northern Ireland. That's the English. And that one is Scotland. And if you look at those 3 flags, they make up their Union Jack, Union flag. Okay, so Wales. This was in existence before. There's no Welsh flag on that because this one was in existence, meaning England and Wales at that time. Wales was already part of England, so don't get a dragon. I quite like a dragon on the flag. I think it would look very cool. I like a dragon. Okay, so home to Stonehenge. Mrs. Ludlow's getting off track again. That's England. Giant's Causeway. It's quite an impressive land feature, this one. And that's in Northern Ireland. Snowdonia. That is in Wales. And the last one has to be Ben Nevis, which is in Scotland. So those are the two mountains, Snowdon and Ben Nevis, the highest in the United Kingdom and the highest in Scotland. I think that's the second highest in the UK. And now we have emblems, which are like symbols for your country. Some of these are national flowers. So this one is the symbol for Northern Ireland, and it's called a shamrock. I forgot the word for it then. I keep thinking of clover, which is very similar. This one is a Scottish thistle. This is a daffodil. And this one is a English rose. That has a huge amount of history to it. The rose goes back to like Tudor rose. It's a big symbol for England. Okay, there's 3 main symbols for England. Just trying to think of them all. There is the rose. There's the symbol of the lions on the chest. What else is there? There's the flag, which is the cross. I think that's it, actually. Yeah, I was just thinking of the lions as well. You get 3 lions on your chest. So if you're a footballer, you'll have that, or a rugby player. I keep talking about football and rugby. You'll have those on your part of your as part of your uniform. Okay. So we've got the places of the capital cities. Okay, of the 4 countries that make up the United Kingdom. So we've got, I whizzed that one through actually. Edinburgh is Scotland. We've got London, Belfast, Cardiff. Do you remember them? Whereabouts are they going to go? Next one is Belfast, which is Northern Ireland. London, the capital city of England, is there. And Cardiff is in South Wales. Okay, so Belfast on the west parts of the Northern Ireland, on the western side. Edinburgh is again on the west side. If you look at these, it's one of the ways that Mrs. Ludlow remembers it is they are on the west side, and if you also look, they are with they're very close to some huge estuaries. Okay, so which is to do with the trade. Obviously, our country, these capital cities are here because of the sea trade, and if you look, they're all on huge estuaries. Okay, so the boats can come up and trade with people in these areas. Okay, it's another way of remembering it. So these indents in are called estuaries, and you get rivers coming through, going out to sea, and they're tidal, so they go in and out with a tide. And Edinburgh is on an estuary, so is Belfast, and Cardiff too, and London. Okay. Which city is being shown here? I had to look this one up actually, and it's very central, and it is. Are you ready? It's Sheffield. Okay, it's very central in the middle of the country. Now, you're going to be using your atlases or your maps this afternoon. If you're in class, you'll use atlases. If you're at home, you'll have another map that'll be very similar to this, but it's still a skill to be able to put those on in the right position. Transferring information from one map to another is quite a tricky thing. Okay, so there's 4 on there that you should be able to put in straight away, which were Belfast. What were they? Come on. Belfast, Edinburgh, London and Cardiff, and see if you can find those estuaries, where those indents are. So that's a good way of finding them. Okay, this one it's sort of like positioned away from that estuary, but this river goes all the way down, and actually London is absolutely huge, not a tiny little dot like that, it's massive. Okay, so and could you spot the place that can you find and label the town that you live in? Now we know that we're around this area here, aren't we? Looking down at the map, because it's going to be showing differently on where you are. So if you look at this, you can see down the bottom here, you've got London round here, then you come down through the English Channel, which is the name of the sea that comes along here. This first sort of bump that comes sort of straight down, this Thanet at the top, straight down, the first sort of corner, almost the corner there, is Dover. The next little bump here is Folkestone, and then there's quite a big pointed area here. It sticks out an absolutely huge long way here, and that's the point that goes out to Dungeness. Okay, it's on the Romney Marsh. So you've got sort of the angle from the corner, which is Dover. The next bump round is Folkestone, and then the big point there is Dungeness. Okay, so it's another way of sort of trying to find that little tiny bump in between, not the huge one, because that you'll end up at Dungeness. The first little bump round, and that sort of bump is where the harbour comes out. Actually, there's quite a sort of like a point out on a map. So and obviously if you live in Folkestone, it'll be there, but if you're in Hawkins, you'll be to the north of that, so that's further up, okay, on that map. Right, that's it. Okay, go for it. See what you can do with these maps and get these places all the way around the end. They might be a little bit tricky, some of them, so take it easy, and have a look at the shape of where your where the little dot is on the little circle that you're looking for. Have a look at the map shape, and transfer the information across. Okay, I hope you do well with that. Do your best, okay? And that's geography done then. Once you get that finished, all right. Thank you very much for listening. All right, take care now.